Justice Kudirat Kekereekun takes oath of office as acting Chief Justice of Nigeria.
I believe that there will be cooperation because we all want to see a better judiciary. A better judiciary is for the benefit of the entire nation.
Supreme Court affirms the victories of governors of Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa states at out-of-cycle governorship elections.
The Supreme Court delivered the judgment and held that the appeal lacks merit and is dismissed.
More nano businesses receive 50,000 naira recapitalization grant as Renewed Hope Empowerment Program reach more states.
Collecting this, it goes a long way.
You're welcome to Network News. I am Lami Ali. Adiola Kameakere is joining us with stories from Lagos. And with me here in the studio is Benny Adams for Business News. Also here is Ayodeji Makinde for latest developments from the world of sports. This broadcast is live streamed on nta.ng/live and on other social media handles of the NTA displayed on your screen. Nigeria now has a new Chief Justice. She is Justice Kudirat Kekereekun. Justice Kudirat Kekereekun was sworn in this Friday as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, succeeding Justice Olukayode Ariwola, who just retired from service. President Bola Tinubu administered the oath of office on Justice Kekereekun as the council chambers of the State House. She is the second female to occupy the position. State House correspondent Musbahat Wahab reports.
After a short private visit to France, President Bola Tinubu was back in town right in good time. There should be no vacuum on the highest bench in the land. 66-year-old Justice Kudirat Kekereekun is a perfect match, being the next most senior justice of the Apex Court as recommended by the National Judicial Council, NJC. The jurist started a legal career in Lagos as a private lawyer in 1985, appointed as senior magistrate grade 2 in Lagos State Judiciary in 1989, and later became a judge of the High Court of same state in 1996. Elevated to the Court of Appeal in 2004 and to the Supreme Court of Nigeria as a fifth female justice of the court in 2013. Justice Kekereekun is apparently not just small for the position. Seemingly convinced by her capabilities, President Tinubu implored her to uphold the sanctity of the judiciary and promote the rule of law.
Let me also reassure you that the judiciary under this administration will continue to receive prompt and adequate attention in recognizing its status as a driver of social order, rule of law, peace, security, and economic development. I therefore urge your Lordship to be faithful and loyal to the Constitution when discharging your duty as acting Chief Justice of Nigeria.
The acting CJN is coming in when observers expect the repositioning of the judiciary for better administration of justice. She's certainly aware of the challenge and promised to take the arm of government to higher heights.
I believe that there will be cooperation because we all want to see a better judiciary. A better judiciary is for the benefit of the entire nation. Whatever the shortcomings that we see today, we're all members of the society. So if we want to see improvement, let the improvement start with each and every one of us. And then we'll also be more particular about the process of appointment. I know it gives a lot of concern, discipline on the bench, at the bar as well. All these things are aspects that we will look into. And I believe that by the grace of God, at the end of my tenure, we will have a judiciary we can all be proud of.
Indeed, very excited. We're very, very excited. First, because we have not kept any vacuum, in our democracy, and that's the beauty of it. Yesterday we had a former CJN step down, haven't attained, the statutory age, and within 24 hours, we've seen the beauty of our democracy. Mr. President himself had to stop his own trip to ensure that, governance and democracy does not stop.
Everyone knows her for her competence, most importantly, for her moral rectitude, for her character, for her firmness, and I expect to see some institutional reforms.
Justice Kudirat Kekereekun will continue in acting capacity until her confirmation by the Senate, when she would also become the next chairman of the National Judicial Council. From the State House, Musbau Nanwahab, NTA News.
Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas has urged Justice Kudirat Kekereekun to uphold the principle of fairness and justice in undertaking her new assignment as Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, congratulating the acting CJN on the occasion of her swearing-in by President Bola Tinubu. Speaker Abbas believes Justice Kekereekun has the pedigree to bring reforms that would enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of Nigeria's judicial system. He expressed the readiness of the 10th House of Representatives to work with the judiciary under Justice Kekereekun's leadership to deepen Nigeria's democracy, while wishing the acting CJN a successful tenure. President Bola Tinubu. The Supreme Court has affirmed the victory of Kogi Governor Usman Ododo, Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, and Doyediri of Bayelsa State in the 2023 governorship elections.
Those were supporters of Kogi State Governor Usman Ododo, jubilating after the Supreme Court affirmed their governor's victory at the 2023 governorship election. Following his loss to Ododo at the November 2023 election, his opponent, Murtala Jaka of the Social Democratic Party SDP, approached the tribunal and later the appeal court, where both courts dismissed his case. Now, the Supreme Court in its judgment held that allegations of age falsification and certificate forgery pleaded by Ajaka were pre-election matters and therefore not justiciable in this case. Delivering judgment on the Bayelsa governorship appeal, the Apex Court dismissed appeal of APC's Timi Priscilla, thereby upholding incumbent governor Doyediri. On the appeal filed by Samuel Anyanwu of the PDP challenging appeal court's affirmation of Imo Governor Hope Uzodinma, the Apex Court dismissed Anyanwu's appeal for lacking in merit.
Today again, Governor Doyediri has won.
The Supreme Court has finally put a seal on the very robust and serious mandate that the people of Imo State gave to Chief Hope Uzodinma.
The Supreme Court delivered a judgment and held that the appeal lacks merit and is dismissed.
These judgments have ended the process of litigation on disputes from the last governorship elections in the 3 states.
And away from the judiciary, President Bola Tinubu reiterates federal government's commitments to contain crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism to improve the nation's crude oil production. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the president, who was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, stated this as the graduation of course 32 at the National Defense College.
This symbolic ceremony signifies the graduation and confirmation of fellowship of the National Defense College on these 11 officers, mostly from the Nigerian Armed Forces, paramilitary, strategic civilian agencies, and 19 others from allied countries. The event marks the end of 11-month course at the National Defense College, Abuja, the Nigerian apex military training institution. The Vice President Kashim Shettima charged the graduates to develop applicable solutions to combat state and regional security challenges, stressing that the federal government is committed to further secure the nation.
We are also working tirelessly to curb the menace of crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism in the Niger Delta. I have also charged the defense headquarters and other security agencies with curbing the menace of crude oil theft as soon as possible. This will no doubt boost oil production and achieve our desired economic stability. We will continue proactively intervening in matters that benefit our citizens. Recently, we have made significant strides in addressing some of these challenges. We have implemented a new national minimum wage, which will benefit not only civilian workers, but also personnel of the Nigerian Armed Forces and other security agencies.
The National Defense College has for the past 32 years championed the development of a research-based approach to addressing emerging threats.
The mission of this college is to develop future leaders sufficiently equipped with the requisite knowledge and analytical skills necessary to harness the instruments of national power in a dynamic defense and security environment.
For these 111 officers and civilian participants from strategic government agencies who are now fellows of the National Defense College Abuja, the event is a transition to a higher level of command and control. From the National Defense College in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency has issued an urgent warning regarding rising water levels of the River Niger system. The statement attributes the development to upstream activities in Niger and Mali. Director General of the agency, Umar Mohammed, explains that floodwaters from these countries are gradually moving towards Nigeria, and thus the agency will continue to monitor the situation closely and provide regular updates to the public. Nigeria is keeping vigilance and strengthening surveillance, especially at entering points, as monkeypox remains a public health emergency at continental and international fronts. In the Mpox epidemiological summary of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Nigeria has no record of death from Mpox, but is recording mild increase in cases. Total confirmed cases now stand at 40 out of over 800 suspected cases in 33 states, including the FCT. Giving an update after a national Mpox briefing with stakeholders and partners in Abuja, NCDC Director General Dr. Jide Idris and World Health Organization country representative Dr. Walter Mulumbo gave insights on national response and interventions to control and prevent its spread.
Right now we have 40 cases, confirmed cases, out of about 830 suspected cases. A number of them breathing in the south, southeast, some in Lagos, some in Ogun, and up north there, the central. And the distribution again. And our plans now are to target those states so that we can reduce the number of, you can actually carry out active surveillance to detect more cases. But because of the spread, what is happening, we need to increase the number of laboratories we're going to use again to test.
As we know, it's an exceptional level of alertness where some kind of international coordination is required. And of course, Nigeria is not high risk, it's moderate risk, but we need to continue to remain vigilant. We will continue to work with the government to strengthen public health measures that are needed to control the outbreak.
As Nigeria expects 10,000 doses of vaccines from the United States, the NCDC advises citizens to adhere to proven infection prevention measures. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, has confirmed receipts of 50 billion naira from recovered proceeds of crime by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. A statement by NELFund's Director, Corporate Communications, Osheyemi Oluwatuyi, says EFCC released the funds as directed by President Bola Tinubu. NELFund also says the money will further boost its programs, depicting a major milestone in the current administration's commitments to bolster access to education by providing financial support to students. NELFund appreciates the President for his unwavering dedication to the education sector and continuous efforts to support the vulnerable in society. President Bola Tinubu congratulates the Chief of Staff to Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Mr. Tayo Akimade Ayinde, as he marks his 60th birthday. In a statement, the President commends Mr. Ayinde for his diligence and dedication, which he demonstrated while working as his chief detail during his time as Governor of Lagos. The President notes that Mr. Ayinde, an accountant, has brought the same zeal and exemplary devotion to duty to his job as Governor Sanwo-Olu's Chief of Staff. President Tinubu congratulates the Lagos Chief of Staff on the milestone and wishes him long life and robust health. Nigeria, in collaboration with the United Nations, is focusing on the transformative impacts of digital technology in driving innovation and addressing global challenges, especially on the role of youth-led micro, small and medium enterprises. Comfort Fashion brings us the details.
Among the things that stands one out in the crowd is having the ability to take the lead in solving common problems. I asked if the youth, especially those with digital and technological skills, are ready to get involved in the task of attaining sustainable development goals.
They have demonstrated a high, level of readiness in embracing digital platforms or digital solutions and technology towards achieving sustainable development goals.
It starts with a mindset, and it takes a drive, it takes determination, it takes a dream.
As digital transformation continues to shape industries, youth-led micro, small and medium enterprises are in the forefront, leveraging technologies such as mobile devices, digital platforms and artificial intelligence. These innovations are considered critical to achieving sustainable development goals, with technologies linked to over 70% of the 169 SDGs targets. It estimated that these technologies could reduce the cost of achieving the SDGs by up to $55 trillion.
Excuses and progress don't work together. You have to make sure that you are deliberate.
The ability to explore, ability to make things happen lies on our young people.
Innovate to generate.
As we use the digital economy to really accelerate prosperity and alleviate poverty in our continent, we should always keep in mind that principle of leaving no one behind.
The 2024 International Youth Day has a theme from clicks to progress. Youth Digital Pathways to Sustainable Development. In Abuja, Comforts, Fashion, NTA News.
The chairman, Federal Government's Palliatives Committee for Kano State and Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barrow Jibrin, has assured of equitable distribution of the 23,644 25 kg bags of rice allocated to the state for the needy. The committee, which has its membership drawn from the All Progressives Congress, New Nigeria People's Party, People's Democratic Party, Inter-Party Advisory Council, religious and traditional rulers met as the National Assembly to finalize the modalities for the distribution of the commodity.
Attached to it at all. So Mr. President is determined to make sure that everyone that needs help gets help anywhere. It's a way of helping the people, those poor, the poor of the poor, the needy. So that's what that's the mandate given to all by Mr. President, that this committee should do that. Make sure that the items to be so distributed get to the people.
Senator Barrow said beneficiaries from all the wards in the 44 local government areas of Kano State needs to be identified through a valid means of identification as a national identity card, driver's license, voter's card or international passports may be used as identification. Nigeria's leading energy solutions provider listed on both the Nigeria Stock Exchange and Johannesburg Stock Exchange is announcing the successful completion of the acquisition of 100% of the shareholding interest in the Nigerian Oil company from the Italian energy company Eni. The acquisition is for a total of $783 million. It is comprised of consideration for the asset and reimbursement. The acquisition is a significant milestone in Owando's long-term strategy to expand its upstream operations and strengthen its position in the Nigeria oil and gas sector. Lydia Sampson brings us the reports.
The key transaction highlights include increased Owando's current participating interest in oil mining leases OML 60, 61, 62 and 63 from 20% to 40%. It also increases Owando's ownership stake in oil NNPC EMP Limited, Nigerian Ajib Oil Company joint venture assets and infrastructure, which include 40 discovered oil and gas fields, of which 24 are currently producing, approximately 40 identified prospects and leads, 12 production stations with approximately 1,490 kilometers of pipelines, 3 gas processing plants, the Brass River Oil Terminal, and the Kwale Okpaye Phase 1 and 2 power plants with a total capacity of 960 megawatts and associated infrastructure. Based on 2022 reserves estimates, Owando's total reserve stands at 505 million barrels of oil, and the transaction will deliver a 98% increase of 493 million barrels of oil, bringing the total reserves to 1.0 billion barrels of oil. The transaction is immediate cash and will contribute significantly to cash flows of the company. Group Chief Executive Owando PLC Wale Tinumbu said the announcement is the culmination of 10 years of toil, resilience and unwavering belief in the realization of Owando's ambition since its 2014 entry into the joint venture via the acquisition of ConocoPhillips. He reiterates that it is therefore a win for Owando and every indigenous energy player in playing a pivotal role in the next phase of the nation's upstream evolution. With assumption of the role of operator, Owando's immediate focus is on optimizing the asset's immense potential, advancing production, and contributing to its strategic objectives. These the company will do while prioritizing responsible practices and sustainable development in ensuring a balanced approach to its host communities and environmental stewardship as Owando complements the nation's plan to boost production output. Looking to the future, Owando says it will continue to pursue strategic diversification opportunities within the broader energy sector that enhance growth and value creation for its stakeholders, particularly in clean energy, agri-feedstock sector, as well as energy infrastructure and mining. Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
A team of experts from the Federal Ministry of Aviation has ended its 2-day inspection tour of the Mambila airstrip with a view to revamping it for the benefit of the country. Correspondent Adamu also reports.
The renewed hope mantra of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is working round the clock with a view to meeting the yearning and aspiration of Nigerians in all spheres of life. Taraba State is also getting the fair attention needed to develop some strategic infrastructure that will put the state in the National Developmental Master Plan of the federal government. This necessitated a visit of a team of experts to assess the state of the federal facilities strategically located on the Mambila Plateau. The visit, which is a follow-up of the abandoned Mambila Air, promoters of air services since 1980s, enjoyed the support of Taraba State government and host communities who expressed willingness to contribute toward revamping the air services in the state.
The last time we came, there was no support from the state government because we need the state government too. But this time around, we really thank them because they really gave us 100% support.
The project has a lot of benefit and opportunity to the community, because it's a project that will empower the communities.
The team has since departed back to Abuja for upward submission of their findings. In Jalingo, Adu Ademu also, NTA News.
Benny Adams brings us business news. Hello, Benny.
Thank you, Lami. And on business tonight, we will be looking at Africa's economy at a glance, from trade to monetary policies, investment in energy, and the stock market. And we start with Nigeria here, where the latest stories around Nigeria is the fact that the federal government has raised Nigerian passport fees by 43% from September 1st, 2024. The cost of a 32-page passport will now rise from 35,000 to 50,000, while a 64-page passport will now increase from 70,000 to 100,000. This government says is to maintain quality. From Nigeria to Ghana, Ghana begins construction of a 12 billion oil refinery, inaugurated 12 billion oil refinery in Jomo, which is to ensure that Ghana now becomes an energy hub. This is coming at a time the conversation around the world is about cleaner energy. Well, Ghana is doing what it needs to do to ensure that the government has got enough money to spend for its people. And now taking a look at Senegal, Senegal sets up commission to review oil, talking about oil and gas contracts, established a commission to review the country's oil and gas contracts with multinational firms focusing on legal and tax aspects. This comes as Senegal ramps up oil and gas production with projects like the energy field becoming operational. Still talking oil resources. And moving from Senegal, the Liberian government, we see the Liberian government here reducing the 2024 national budget by $17 million. This is coming at a time other countries are saying, let's ramp up, cost of spending by increasing a budget. But for them, it is a 2.3% cut of the initial budget of $738.8 million agreed upon in April. The decision is coming at a time that the Revenue Authority in that country reported strong revenue performance for lawmakers. But what will be the implication on the purchasing power of citizens? Well, we'll get to see that in the coming weeks. And taking a look at Egypt, Egypt exports surpassed $24 billion in 2024, and their trade deficit is actually narrowing. That is common economics. Well, again, Egypt's merchandise exports surpassed $24 billion in the first 7 months of 2024. Non-oil exports played a vital role of $3.1 billion in July, up 12% from the previous year. Imports also increased by $6.5 billion last July. Earlier, August also recording the same margins. This is to say, it's not just about imports, but good exports. Now, taking a look at Rwanda, National Bank of Rwanda cuts key interest rate to 6.5% to stimulate economy. The National Bank made that decision to ensure that businesses get to thrive more, and that cut is 7% to 6.5%, talking about 5% basis points. That is to boost economic activity amid declining consumer prices. The rate is also to encourage money circulation and support economic stability, as inflation has actually remained steady in that part of the country within 2 to 8% target this year, which is actually in top form. Well, from there, we go to USA, talking about the Federal Reserve on interest rate. The Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Friday endorsed an imminent start to interest rate cuts, saying further cooling in the job market would be unwelcoming, and expressing confidence that inflation is within reach of the U.S. Central Bank's 2% target. Let's take a listen.
Market data show an evolving situation. The upside risks to inflation have diminished, and the downside risks to employment have increased. As we highlighted in our last FOMC statement, we are attentive to the risks to both sides of our dual mandate. The time has come for policy to adjust. The direction of travel is clear, and the timing and pace of rate cuts will depend on incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of.
And now taking a look at the markets, investors gained 146.71 billion naira as the whole share index advanced by 0.27%, where we see a total of 327.2 million shares traded in 8,243 deals, with such value arriving at $5.853 billion naira, and the market capitalization has slightly increased to 54.9 trillion naira. The all-share index remained 95,718.05 basis points, and the all-share index actually appreciated by 0.12%. No, it's actually 0.27%. That's an error there. We see Univenture with trading with volume of 61.1 trillion. Transcorp is sitting actually at the fourth spot. And now moving on from the downtrodden to the elderly. The First Lady's Renewed Hope initiative has been impacting lives across Nigeria since the commencement of this year. This is in turn where petty traders, almost 100,000 per state. Ismail Musa has a compilation of some of the 50,000 naira recapitalization in some parts of the country. That is in addition to the business news.
Njikoya reports that wife of the Chief of Staff to the President, Salamatu Gbajabiamila, encouraged the beneficiaries to be judicious in the utilization of the grant to expand their nano businesses.
Today is also a day of recognition, empowerment, and hope as we award these grants to our women-led nano businesses.
An initiative targeted at improving family incomes. Christopher Ajibola in Kogi reports that wife of Speaker, House of Representatives, Hajia Fatima Tajuddin Abbas, told the women, petty traders as the soul of local economies, not to relent, but to see this as another tool to curb poverty.
Today, we celebrate your hard work and determination. Let us all continue to work together to build a Nigeria where every woman has the opportunity to succeed, where every small business can grow and contribute to our nation's prosperity.
From Ogun State, Oyinkanshola Ojolade reports on the emotional moment that followed the empowerment gesture of the First Lady, as it sent a glimmer of hope to a number of beneficiaries.
Collecting this, it goes a long way for me.
The grant provided today is to assist our women petty traders in overcoming some of their business challenges, expand their businesses, create more jobs, and contribute more robustly to our economy.
And a promise of continuous support from government as a strategic means of building prosperous communities followed the presentation of checks to petty traders in Kwara State.
Empowering women economically is not just a moral imperative, but a strategic one. When women thrive, their families thrive, and by extension, our communities and nation prosper.
The Renewed Hope Initiative Economic Empowerment Program is expected to expend 1,850 million naira to 37,000 traders across the country. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Well, that is it on business. More stories in our Lagos end with Adiola. I hear she has a good number of business stories also. Adiola, it's over to you.
Benny. Efforts to deepen the symbiotic relationship among stakeholders in the maritime sector is gaining traction with the signing of agreement for minimum standards of condition of service for workers in the shipping industry and their employers. Joel Popola reports that the milestone accomplished by the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy and the Nigerian Shippers Council became a reality after 20 years of protracted delays.
A landmark feat that is long overdue, but better late than never. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Igboyega Oyetola, and the Nigerian Shippers Council have reached a consensus that has set a minimum benchmark expected to transform the maritime sector, which will now be a catalyst for speedy economic development. The minister says the agreement is a demonstration of the commitment to industrial harmony, welfare of maritime workers, and operational efficiency of the sector.
To employ the employers to please keep strictly to the conditions of this agreement. I don't want us to just sign it for the fun of it. It has to be properly implemented. And I commend the Shippers Council for creating the time to really midwife this agreement.
The Executive Secretary and CEO of Nigerian Shippers Council and other stakeholders said a new era of endless possibilities has been ushered in the maritime sector.
I believe that this will bring a lot of harmony in the sector. We don't want a sector that is volatile, a sector that is being disrupted because of industrial actions resulting from workers' agitations.
By virtue of the agreement we have signed today, our minimum wage in the shipping sector is 200,000 naira.
It is not left for the stakeholders to key into what the Minister and the ES Council Shippers Council have already laid down now.
The Nigerian Shippers Council also demonstrated its digitized electronic regulatory process platform, an in-house platform developed to stop capital flight, ensure speedy operations, block leakages and other benefits. So far, more than 30 billion naira has been saved with this innovation. For the maritime workers, the excitement of the epoch-making event remains unforgettable in Lagos. Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
Nigeria's quest to ameliorate the impact of the removal of fuel subsidy with the Compressed Natural Gas Initiative is recording positive results as stakeholders in the transportation sector are embracing the free CNG conversion initiative for petrol and diesel-powered commercial vehicles in the country. Joel Bukbola reports that experts say this policy reshapes the transportation landscape in the country and have a multiplier effect on the price of commodities.
For a cosmopolitan city like Lagos, where a substantial portion of the population depends on mass transit, cost of maintaining diesel and petrol-powered commercial vehicles is a burden which both motorists and commuters have to bear. Thus, experts say CNG conversion is the way out, with many conversion centers offering services at prices not within the reach of the average person. The free conversion for commercial vehicles now to run on CNG, according to stakeholders, will reduce the cost of living drastically.
With CNG, it does two things. It helps with the climate. But most importantly, for a businessman like me, it reduces our cost of operation, because the CNG, the gas, is a lot cheaper than diesel that we're presently using now. So I'm very excited about it. I believe it's a great opportunity for Nigeria, and it's also good for the climate.
For me, that's a very good step and a bold step from the federal government. It's going to cut very low the price of the transportation costs. It's going to come down very well, which is going to favor transporters and commercial vehicles and people who take commercial transportation also.
For the objective of the initiative to be realized, respondents say stakeholders should be well sensitized on the benefit of CNG-powered vehicles to enhance its popularity. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
And from Lagos, we will take you back to Lami in Abuja, but that will be after this time out. Please stay with us.
Thank you for staying. The Nigerian Television Authority says its doors are open to partnerships with relevant agencies that provide content for the development of television industry in Nigeria. This came up when the management hosted the Film and Video Producers, Marketers and Distribution Association of Nigeria. The Director General of the NTA, Abdulhamid Dembus, represented by the Executive Director Programs, Lawal Lalu, commends the association for providing quality content towards the development of television and assures them of NTA's commitment to promoting national unity through its content and wider reach.
Loan can employ a lot of our youth in this country so that we can reduce or even not eradicate the unemployment problem we are facing in the country. So I want to give you the assurance that NTA will partner with you and we will continue to do so.
President of the association, Matthew Abutu, is convinced that partnership with the NTA will further propel progress in the development of the film industry and other related professionals.
And make students
even self-sufficient right in the school. So we are really here to rub minds with the NTA to see how possible we can partner.
The collaboration between the two organizations is expected to expand viewership of film and videos in Nigeria. And here is a piece of good news that gladdens the hearts of families and the nation as the National Youth Service Corps has secured the release of Solomon Daniel, the last of the 8 Zamfara kidnapped Corps members. Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Yushau Ahmed, disclosed this while briefing newsmen in Abuja. The 8 Corps members were kidnapped on the 17th of August 2023 on their way to Sokoto from Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital. Applauding the joint efforts of security operatives in securing their release, the Director General said no ransom was paid.
Yesterday, 2022, August 24, we rescued the last person, who is Solomon Daniel Bassi. He is here with us. NYSC policy on Corps members not to travel at night is still in force.
Though I cannot say everything that happened because it would be too traumatic for me to say, but all the same, I am thankful to God Almighty.
I want to say thank you to our DG and also the Army for having passed through thicks and thorns to rescue us.
Sports update is next, and Ayodeji is the captain. It's over to you.
I mean, let's get laminated the sports way by starting with volleyball, because the Nigeria Premier Volleyball League serves off in Abuja August 24 with 12 male and 12 female teams in contention to be national champions and secure slots in Africa Volleyball Club Championship. The 2-week event slated for the indoor hall of the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, is part of foundation by the National Federation to harness talents and secure qualification for the Olympic Games in Los Angeles come 2028.
The prize money will be much bigger than what has been taking place before. And other teams, there is a form of subsidy that will be going to all the teams, and even to players that distinguish themselves in the first and the second phase.
Responsibility has been bestowed on Nigerian volleyball, especially on beach volleyball in Africa. It is not going to be easy, but I want to assure you that by the grace of God in New York and Los Angeles, Nigerian volleyball will be represented.
In football, referees, players, coaches and club owners have been charged to improve capacity in line with international standards. Nigeria Premier Football League gave the charge at a conference ahead of the 2024-2025 season, which begins August 31 between champions Rangers of Enugu and El Kanemi Warriors of Maiduguri at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium.
There are new rules from FIFA that they need to know. I mean, the players in each team. We want the best for Nigeria, and looking for, and in an attempt to get the best, we need to move towards standard best practices so that the world can trust us, Africa can trust us, Nigerians can believe in us.
So when the league starts and there are new interpretations to what they knew before this time, then there shouldn't be any kind of misunderstanding, on the field.
Okay, let's take a look at some facts about the 2024-2025 season of the Nigeria Premier Football League, because it's been quite a break, and just like they promised us at the end of May that the league will kick off on August 31, they're really sure to start on the 31st of August nationwide, but that will only be the match between Rangers and El Kanemi Warriors. Our defending champions are Rangers, and the CAF Men's Club Tournament, Rangers of Enugu and Remo Stars will compete in the CAF Champions League. While in the CAF Confederation Cup, it will be Abia Warriors and newly promoted El Kanemi Warriors after, of course, they did well in that tournament. The Nigeria Premier Football League has also signed a deal with Sevilla in the Spanish League. Remember, Sevilla are record champions of the Europa League to also develop their players. Key figures from the 2023-2024 season: a staggering 56 goals scored by a team, Enugu Rangers. And how about this? 78, the number of goals conceded by a team in the league. That's Gombe United. 18 is the least number of goals conceded by a goalkeeper. That's Amas Obasoge of Bendel Insurance and Chijoke Mbaoma of Enyimba scored 17 goals in total to emerge as the highest goal scorer. Well, on the page 2, we have 21. That is the figure for the highest number of wins by a team. Rangers on their way to becoming champions of the league. And at 43, Super Eagles forward in his prime, Rabiu Ali, became the oldest player to score in the Nigeria Premier Football League. Remember, also 4 goalkeepers were involved with assists to supply the strikers with goals in the just-ended season. Now, let's move on and tell you that Edo Queens have emerged champions of the West Africa Football Union Zone B tournament, which is a qualifier for CAF Women's Champions League later this year. Goals from Saliyat Aberdeen, MMSCN, and an own goal secured a 3-0 victory over Ainon VFC of Benin Republic in the 8-team competition, which held in Côte d'Ivoire. Edo Queens will now join 7 other teams for the finals of the Women's Champions League, with the host country to be decided during CAF Congress in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo, on the 10th of October 2024. And that's your sports. It's back to Lami.
Thank you, Ayo. We take another set of messages. Do stay tuned.
From conversation on enforcing local government autonomy on the table as federal government sets up interministerial committee to facilitate the Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy. That is our focus on NTA Tuesday Live, coming up on the 27th August 2024. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. It promises to be incisive and educative as ever. Join us.
Effective service delivery, quick intervention for progress and development in all sectors remain a recurring desire of Nigerians. To bridge these gaps and accelerate improvement in the people's living conditions, President Bola Tinubu hit the ground running, signing performance bonds with the administration's foot soldiers. Reshaping democracy debuts on NTA, putting 8 presidential priority areas on the implementers on a scale, holding MDAs accountable. Keep a date with the NTA every Tuesday at 10:05 in the evening as we assess government's performance and reshape the nation's democracy.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, we turn dark into light, we bet solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than destination.
We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
And that does it on NTA Network News for today. We thank you for watching. Do have a good weekend.